Hi, I'm Simone Chalkley, and I did the Access to Humanities course at Cambridge Regional College, CRC, in Cambridge. My main motivation for going back to study was I originally was supporting a friend who wanted to go back to retrain because her qualifications were no longer adequate because of, being a parent. And she'd been out of the kind of work and education for a long time. So I went with her to support her, got chatting to an English literature lecturer and thought, oh, that might be quite fun to go to university and study English literature. But it turned out I needed to actually do an access course first because I didn't have A levels at the time. And that's when I ended up going to CRC to take Access to Humanities. I felt incredibly supported when I did the Access course. So not only do you have your lecturers that obviously teach you and support you in each of the subjects that you take, you also get one of your teachers is usually also your kind of advisor type person, and you go to them with any problems that you have. But also the other thing that person does is take the study skills module. And the study skills is the vital part to help you to learn. So it's essay writing, exam practice, revision guidance, all of the things that you need to get through your course, how to write an essay, how to find good sources for your essays, all of those kind of things. Those are the things that you really need. Presentation skills and PowerPoint kind of presentation things, all that kind of stuff. So everything that you need is there to hand. I enjoyed all of it. And I know that sounds ridiculous. It was really hard work, don't get me wrong. It was really difficult. There was so much to do, so much to remember, so many new skills to learn, but I genuinely really loved it and gave it my all. I mean, I especially loved English literature because we had to read a book a week and write about those books. And I enjoyed all of the things that were chosen because they were things that I'd never thought of reading for myself. History, I learned loads about women's rights, and I learned loads about the history of Britain that I didn't really know very much of before. So it taught me more about democracy and things like that. And also sociology is a really interesting thing to study because in that was the weirdest thing for me. Coming from a working class background, I started studying about how women from working class backgrounds end up struggling in the education system. So it was a bit meta for me because I was like learning about myself, learning about struggling in education, and that was just, yeah, that was mind-blowing. So yeah, really, really interesting. So the Access to Humanities diploma really did prepare me for university because before I had done it, I didn't know anything about how to structure essays. I didn't really know anything about approaches to learning, such as feminism or Marxism or structuralism and all the other many isms that there are. The other thing that it did as well was to give me confidence to stand up in front of people and talk and do presentations. I think when I got to university, there were people that were still struggling with those things. And so I was really happy that I had done the course because I felt prepared. It was amazing. It was a shock. I was obviously incredibly pleased, but I had no idea, one, that I was being put in for it, and two, that when I got shortlisted, that the person who I was up against, I knew was really good at writing, and I'd actually been to see one of his plays performed, I think either the semester before, the year before. So I was really nervous. And also the people who were judging it. So there was a particular judge called Tim Blake Wertenbaker, who I really admired from my time at CRC because we studied one of her plays called Our Country's Good. And I'd never got to see her at UEA doing talks and things because she's a part of UEA. So when I found out that she had judged my play and liked it and that I had won, I was over the moon. I was just like, wow, first introductions. So that was, yeah, brilliant. My plans now are many. First of all, to keep on writing. That's the main thing. I wrote so many plays and mini films and films at university, and some prose and some poetry, not much poetry. Maybe I'd like to do some more of that, but I think that's the main thing, is to keep up the writing every single day and to enter some competitions or get my work to a standard that I feel like I can approach somewhere to get it pitched, so that maybe one day someone might get to see one of my films on the small screen or the big screen, something like that. The other thing that I'm doing, I was an editor and a proofreader before I started doing the course anyway. So I'm continuing to use the skills as well to make other people's writing better, like I always have. So my advice to anyone who's considering doing an Access to HE diploma is go for it. Research what it is that you want to do, look at the different courses, look at the pathways perhaps as well, to see where they can take you, because each of the courses is slightly different and you will go into different fields. But just, there's no harm in going to have a look, there's no harm in going along, and you might end up surprising yourself. And I think that you'll find it really enjoyable and interesting, and I don't think you'll regret it. So yeah, go to an open day. So I think this was the most difficult question of all. How would I summarize my time, my experience? I've actually got 4 words. they all mean kind of similar things. I think the best one, I suppose, would be valuable. It was a valuable time. It was a valuable experience to me, because even if I hadn't have done anything afterwards and I'd have just carried on living my life how I was living it, I learned so much, not just about everything to do with English literature. I also learned a lot about myself as well. Okay, my other words were rewarding, worthwhile, and positive. So each of those things are things that sprang to mind when I thought of my Access course.